Alright, the key weather story we're going to be talking about today is this massive low pressure system that is bringing severe weather to basically the entire eastern half of the country. Yesterday, this storm right here stretched all the way down into Texas and dropped some softball-sized hail in eastern Oklahoma, had some hurricane-force winds, and over 200 severe weather reports. And as it turns out, the action is continuing today. So let's see what this storm is going to look like as it continues to move through the country and develop. You can see this strip of severe weather that's just going to move like a wave almost through the entire southeast. And then as this low just kind of hangs out over the Midwest, eventually that line is going to stretch all the way from the northeast to the southeast, that line of severe weather, and then it's going to continue to move like a wave into the northeast, and you can see there's going to be some heavy rainfall associated with this, and it's actually producing a flood threat for multiple states in the northeast. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. One other thing to note is in the desert southwest, there is an excessive heat warning where temperatures should be over 100 degrees, and then around this area right here, there's a fire weather watch, red flag warning that usually happens when there's extreme heat, dry conditions, and windy. So if you live in the area around Nebraska or Kansas, watch out for fire. Getting into the severe weather that's going on right now, this was what it looked like this morning at about 1 a.m. And if you live in Oklahoma, Arkansas, or eastern Texas, you were probably woken up by the thunder, the lightning, the hail that was moving through your area really early this morning. Literally, softball-sized hail in eastern Oklahoma. That is enough to probably break a windshield of some older vehicles. So moving through the day, the interesting thing to notice on this, so this is showing 7 a.m. Wednesday, that's about right now. And the interesting thing to notice is how this storm just moves perfectly south. Typically, weather moves west to east because that's typically how the jet stream is oriented. It goes west to east. But this storm is weird because it looks like it's going straight north to south. And the reason for that, well, it comes back to the jet stream. If you look at the jet stream here, as we move to that same time that storm was just dropping straight south, you can see that the jet stream is going straight from Minnesota to Louisiana, basically. So what that's going to do is just simply move the storm straight south. This indicates wind. Wind pushes air. I feel like that's pretty intuitive. And then this trough is just going to continue to build in throughout the eastern half of the country. And it's really driving the weather we're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. You can see it really just, you get this strong band right here in the jet stream as it moves through the northeast. And that's going to bring some extreme winds, some heavy rainfall, and as it turns out, possibly some flash flooding. So moving into the southeast, remember it moves straight south, and then you'd think it would just go into the Gulf of Mexico, but then it actually reorganizes into that line I showed earlier, that line that just goes almost from Alabama up to Pennsylvania. So as that line gets reorganized, it's just going to move through the southeast, basically like a wave. So this is showing 1 p.m. on Wednesday. You can see there's heavy rainfall, most likely some severe thunderstorms, some hail, some lightning. It's going to be moving through Mississippi and Alabama, and then that's going to move into Alabama and northern Georgia by about 7 p.m. tonight. And then moving into 1 a.m. tonight. So this is about the time that the same system was moving through Oklahoma and eastern Texas and dropped softball-sized hail over those areas. At about 1 a.m. tonight, 1 a.m. tomorrow morning technically, it's going to be moving through Georgia and western South Carolina. So you guys might get woken up tonight too because of the energy that the storm has. It finally starts to dissipate a little bit by about 7 a.m. on Thursday. You can see those heavy rainfall rates, that severe thunderstorms kind of turn into lighter rain at this point, and then it finally just moves off the coast. Well, at that point, it's actually moved up into the northeast where it's going to sit for, a little bit longer than you'd want it to, especially when flooding is the concern. I love this map because it shows what the winds look like. So going into Nebraska and Kansas, where we had that fire danger, it was mostly because of the extreme winds that we're going to be having there mixed with the warm temperatures. And you can see that the extreme winds there are actually associated with the low that is bringing severe weather to the Midwest, Southeast, and Northeast. It's always amazing to see how connected weather across the entire country is. So the low that's bringing hail to Oklahoma is bringing fire danger to Nebraska and Kansas. It's pretty cool how weather works. The other thing I like this, the other reason I like this map is it always shows the warm air advection into the southeast. Now before you click away because I'm getting too sciencey, you can just see it based on the colors. Right here it's all like yellows and light oranges. As these winds push in the warm, moist air you see over the Gulf of Mexico, you can see that the temperatures in the southeast increase as well. What that does, basically think about air boiling out of, or air rising out of a boiling pot of water. Warm air rises. So as this warm air moves in, it rises, creates clouds, severe thunderstorms, and all the exciting weather that we're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. Moving into the Midwest, because you saw that's where that low is right now, it was bringing severe thunderstorms, some heavy rainfall. Same time, 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. this morning, you had some action in southern Illinois, and even a bullseye in Michigan that got some heavy rain at this time. And then it looked like it was going to kind of ease up for a second there. This is 7 a.m. this morning, so about right now. And it looks like the rain is kind of easing up, but it's actually going to get re-energized as it moves into the northeast. The interesting thing about this is, with a lot of the storms I've been forecasting recently, they've just moved through the Midwest in 6 to 12 hours. They're gone before you even notice it. This one, you'll notice, look at this, going back to the start, this is 1 a.m. Wednesday, it barely even moves until about 1 p.m. on Thursday. So that's what's weird about this storm. It's really just parking itself over the Midwest. And I gave you a little sneak peek. By about 1 or 7 p.m. really on Thursday, that low's finally going to move into the northeast. Now once it gets to the northeast, that's when it's going to get re-energized and really start wreaking some havoc on the northeast. No snow, a little bit too warm for that, but there is going to be some heavy rainfall, most likely some flash flooding. So the first band of heavy rainfall is going to come into western Pennsylvania at about 1 a.m. on Thursday. Then that band is just going to move straight east by about 7 a.m. Thursday. Pennsylvania, the entire western part of the state at this point, will have felt that band just move through right over them. And it really is not moving fast. It's just like in the Midwest, this low is just taking its time as it moves across the country. By about 1 p.m. on Thursday, you can see this is when it's really intensified and it's really organized itself into just a strip of extreme rainfall. That's going to be working its way into New York and central Pennsylvania at this time. Right here is when the storm just really blows up again. So we saw a huge pulse of this storm early this morning as it moved through Oklahoma and eastern Texas. This is the next big wave we got to worry about. This is when, so let's see if I go back here. So one way a storm gets energy is when warm, moist air moves in. It just provides it with energy and moisture that you need if you want severe weather. Well, what's going to happen as this low moves into the northeast, the exact same kind of concept is going to work. You see these winds pushing in warm, moist air from the Gulf Stream. Both Gulfs, both providing energy for the storm, but now it's the Gulf Stream that's pushing that warm, moist air into the northeast, allowing for that severe weather to happen. So once that really starts pushing in here, that's when the storm is going to get re-energized. And you can see this is going to be some severe weather. We're going to get thunderstorms, hail, lightning, flash flooding. In central New York to, at this point, it's eastern Pennsylvania and parts of New Jersey. This is about 7 p.m. on Thursday. This is when that storm really re-energizes and starts to move through the northeast. You can see, just like in the Midwest, it really just hangs out for a while. This is now showing about 1 p.m. on Friday. Still hanging out, still bringing heavy rain to isolated places. And then throughout the day Friday, it's going to just kind of ease up. It spends all of its energy, and then it finally moves off by about Saturday morning. Friday is kind of the dwindling effects. I'm going to show this map real quick because this is one of my favorite maps to look at just because it's basically beautiful. Looking at so this is showing total accumulated rainfall. I was getting so wrapped up into this map that I forgot to explain what it was. Total accumulated rainfall, this is going to show where the heaviest rain is going to fall as this storm works its way through. You can see the bulk of it is in eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and southern to central New York. That's where 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 inches of rain are going to be falling, and that's where we have the threat for flash flooding. So if you want to stay updated with this storm, you can subscribe to my channel. Hopefully you learned something in this video. If you did, you could check out my forecast playlist to check out more videos just like this one, and hopefully learn some more. Thanks for watching.